going now. All right, give it 1 second to load up, and then I think I'm going to start. We could talk about gold, talk about some oil, talk about some S&P 500 and Nasdaq. We got some had some news over the weekend. If anybody was here yesterday, you probably caught my little rant. But yeah, for anybody who's new, my name's Eddie, trader at Tactical Edge Trading. You can check us out, tacticaledgetraders.com. We go live on TikTok and YouTube about 6 days a week, myself and Ben. We just talk about the markets. We like to keep it light with the humor and do some TA, keep it real, you know. I will talk a little bit about what happened this weekend that kind of caused a little bit of a spike in gold and oil. I mean, obviously, everybody knows about that Iran news. Don't want to get too crazy into it, but there's some geopolitical tension going into Friday, and now not so much. Still a lot for the market to digest when it opens tomorrow, so I think it's a good chance to, Sunday night's a good chance to kind of plot out some levels, talk about some things that could potentially happen on both ends. And yeah, if you guys have some tickers, let me go over a few things, then we'll talk about your tickers, and we can, yeah, I don't mind doing some TA as well. But I just want to talk about gold initially here and just talk about what happened going into the weekend and how myself and some people in the Discord were able to catch this long. And what are you looking at this week? Oil, energy. I'm looking at oil. I'm looking at gold, S&P. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. Just give me a couple seconds to kind of go through everything. So look, going into Friday, what has gold been doing, right? We've been consolidating in this little wedge, bull flag wedge. What was the key here for gold? And we talked about this on the channel. If anybody's regular, I talked about this $5,100 level. I said, you flip 5,100, guess what? You turn that into support, it's going to the all-time high. And that's what we did. We consolidated, we wedged out. And look, you know what's even funny about this? Let me show you some interesting stuff here. If you take the measured move, we pretty much just about hit it, right? So I actually myself took this trade and gave this trade out in the Discord. I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. I said, I'm looking for the breakout. I'm looking for any back tests or higher lows. We start to consolidate right around here. I entered on this in this little range here. I found a little entry. I said, I'm going to take a crack at it, and went into the weekend, and I closed out this trade around here somewhere when it opened up today. So it was a nice little gain from, you know, about 3-4%. It was about 3% actually. I had a trade lower down, but I actually got out of that trade. Shook out by the markets. But yeah, so look, why did gold go up? Well, people were scared. People were thinking, hey, man, we don't know what's going to go on, and gold's a safe haven. People want to put their money into safe havens like gold. That's why we saw the stock market, the Nasdaq. Let me go look at that. We'll look at the S&P and Nasdaq. Look what they did going into Friday. And they still haven't opened yet, by the way. But look, they dumped out. They dumped out over the weekends because people are afraid. So right now we got this CME gap. The futures actually just opened on S&P a little bit ago. So look, there's a nice CME gap here after this big capitulation over the weekend because people were scared. I mean, what else do you think? Why are you drawing random line? Why are you drawing random line on a chart? This is not a random line right here. This is just a level that I'm watching. But it's random to you, I guess. So you're right. It's a good question. So look, what's that? That's a CME gap. That's a gap that we put in over the weekend. I think it's a good target going into Monday, maybe even tonight. We'll see what happens. So that could take you back up to a 68, 61 if they do decide to try to fill this. So I'd be watching that going into the week on S&P. And overall, look, man, like we're just in a range at the end of the day, right? Get rid of this real fast. That was the theory we're kind of crafting. But look, we're in a range. Until this range picks a direction, you just play the range. So if in the short term, it's this, man. You know, until it proves otherwise. It's in a downtrend within the range. So until we find some support, which we may be finding some now, or maybe we're going to find it down here at the range low. Maybe we don't. So we'll see. But I think this week we're going to get some decisions being made. So it'll be interesting to see. The Qs, pretty much the same thing, but the Qs look a little more interesting, right? So here's what I'm seeing here. Same thing. I'm going to go to a higher time frame. But you won't be able to see the futures data on the daily. That's why I'm going to stick to the 4. It's crazy what's happening in this world. You're absolutely right, Finn. It is crazy. What do I think of gold? I mean, I think gold's going back to its all-time high. I think we might get a little bit of a pullback, sell-off going into the beginning of the week because it pumped pretty high. I mean, it went from 5,200 over the weekend on Friday to almost 5,400. So I think we get an initial pullback on gold, and I think gold runs up to retest its highs at 56. I've been saying that for a while because, I mean, 5,100 was the last line in the stand, and if it breaks that and its conviction holds conviction above it, then I think it's going to run. So, but yeah, like, look, NASDAQ right here, it's just in a range. But what we're starting to see is a little pattern form in the short term, right? So we're getting this ascending triangle formation. And we're right down here at the lows. So look, if we can hold this, my expectation is if we're not going to break down from here, we're going to make our way back up to this high at some point and see what happens. If we do break this, then we're probably coming to take the all-time high. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. But if support holds, I expect that. If this breaks, then this maybe, right? Otherwise, it's going to look something like this. It's going to, break down, and we're just going to continue down to probably take out this low maybe around 24,000. And at some point, I think we'll make our way back down to 23,000. Maybe a little lower than that, like 22. This is kind of the low I'm thinking at some point we're going to tap. But for now, we're playing the mini range, right? So we're looking what to do this week. So I'd wait to see if the CME gap, same thing with the S&P, right? Looking to see if the CME gap fills. That would be a nice play going into tomorrow, maybe. These are just little areas, little things you can look for as a trader over the weekend. You plot these out, you watch these levels. They act as support and resistance when you attack them. So when we first get up here, you see how we're wicking into that. That's acting as resistance. So if you break through, you know you're going to probably get the fill. And then you start looking at hot levels higher up on S&P. I think now ready to pump here. A lot of things are pumping right now. So yeah, man, let's go look at oil. I mean, look what oil did. This is just more about the war scare stuff I was talking about. But oil's in its position right now. We've been talking about oil in the Discord for a little bit. By the way, if you're not following us or subscribe, like, follow. We do content 6 days a week with tacticaledgetraders.com. You can check us out. Discord, all that's through the website. And we do give some free courses as well. But look, essentially, let's just get down to the nitty-gritty here of what oil's doing on the weekly. It's flipping a major level. I actually go to the monthly to show you this level. But it's flipping a major level right here, right? Let me go back to that. And we're starting to break a trend on the monthly, right? Just like a little bit of a local trend. And we've gapped up. So if this thing can hold this level, I mean, I expect it to come back up to maybe attack these highs around 80, 90 bucks before any pullbacks. So we'll see. But again, with all the news with Iran, who knows? Like, this is going to be an interesting one to watch because I don't know how that affects the prices. We were pumping into the fear of a war, and then we got the news over the weekend. So it's going to be interesting one to watch. I don't want to make any predictions because, like, with this kind of stuff, this is affected more about geopolitical stuff than it's going to be affected by, like, what the charts say. But right now, I mean, it looks like it wants a pump. So if it can hold, then maybe there's going to be a push up into those levels I was just talking about on oil. There's another gap on top of that. Yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. There's so many gaps, man. I try to just get the most immediate ones. Futures weekends with the 5,600 ready. Damn, did it really, Freeman? Wow. What's up, Kush? Let me see what you guys got in the chat for me. We got EMA2. I don't know what that is. Why are you drawing random line? Because that guy is probably the coolest trader ever. He's probably ICT or something. His thoughts on Path. I'll go look up Path. See what that is. So let me know if this is the right thing. I've TA'd this before. Didn't look too great last time I TA'd it. And we've lost that level, man. All right, so look. Let's talk about this thing, right? Get rid of some of the old shit that's no longer relevant. Essentially what was going on with Path, right? And this is me zoomed in. We were uptrending since August of 2025. Boom, right? We double topped, kind of swept the highs right there. And we've been in a downtrend since November of 25, just like the rest of the market. and it hasn't been able to break back above trend. So that's what that trend is representing, right? But the real thing is we lost the trend, the uptrend, and we've lost major low at $12. And now we're sweeping the lows at 10. We're pretty much just crashed all the way back down to the floor, which is this right here. So it's not looking great. I mean, I guess if you're bullish, if you want to buy, it's not a bad level to maybe try to like take a crack at it if you think this thing still has hope. But I mean, it doesn't look strong right now, I'll be honest. It's just sitting down here. But you are getting a little bit of a reaction, right? So you see how we're getting a little bit of a buy up. Could be a dead cat bounce. We won't know. So what I would look for on this thing is, because we're at what I call support. It's the last line of support, by the way. You can take a trend line on your daily, start it right here, and just run that down. See how it's got multiple touches? Boom, boom, boom. If this thing starts to break and flips market structure, which needs to happen is we have a low. We need to put in a high and then a higher low, and then we got to break that on the daily. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a move like that to flip us bullish on a daily. Let me see if the 4-hour even has it. Yeah, I don't even see it on the 4-hour yet. I mean, the 4-hour is posturing bullish. I think it needs to break. It's probably going to attack this high right here, right, that I have like drawn out. Might get a rejection, and if it can form a higher low outside of this trend, I think your money to maybe mark up a little bit, because it's been beaten down pretty hard. And it's swept a lot of liquidity, so maybe it's going to get a little bit of a bounce. Volume's probably shitty on this thing, too, I would imagine. Hold on. No, the volume's picking up a little bit, so that's not bad. So there might be some hope here. Let me see if there's any divergence. I mean, you're way oversold. No real divergence that I can see. Let me see if the 4-hour has anything. Nothing yet. So just keep watching. I don't think this thing's ready to go yet, but I think if it starts to do some things and starts to flip structure on the daily, maybe the 4-hour, look for the 4-hour first on the other side of this trend, and then you might have something. So you get a chance tonight to look at Arrow on the one. Yeah, I can look at Arrow, dude. Arrow USDT? Kush? Let me know if it's Arrow USDT I'm looking at or not. Otherwise, that's the only Arrow I know of, if it's Aerodrome. I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about, because, you know, you like to trade alts. All right. So let's talk about Arrow. Well, it's at support. If it was going to bounce, this is, yeah, I got you. USDTP, I got you. We could look at Binance. So it's at support, essentially, right? We're holding support. What you're looking for here is for this weekly to hold, and then we're going to look and see what the next level up is on the daily, because the next level up on the weekly is like way up there. So, I mean, look, you flip structure on the daily. So you have your low, high, higher low, break a structure. Right now, what you're forming in this little consolidation right here would be considered the back test. If you can get this higher low to form, your expectation is the trend will continue up. That's a market structure shift on the daily. So far, so good, right? That's what you want to see. Let me see what the 4-hour looks like. I mean, look, it looks just like Bitcoin, dude. I think if Bitcoin continues to do what it's doing, I think this is going to continue up. Like, let's just look at it like this. I'm going to break this down. It's probably sitting on a 618 or 786 right there in the golden pocket. So when it came back after this impulse, it's bouncing in the golden pocket. That's sign one that we're bullish, right? Or at least it wants to mark up. Two, you had a little bit of a downtrend here, or a bull flag, and that flag is breaking, and we're putting in a higher low above it. As long as we don't lose this low here, and we put some type of higher low in right here, maybe a little bit lower if it wants to go, I expect this high to get attacked around 37, 38. If they break that, man, it's probably, like I said, that's what you want to see. That's a continuation of the trend. That's your daily market structure shift, that this thing's probably going to come up and start attacking highs. You can start up around 40 cents maybe is probably, like, I would say the closest target. And then if it breaks 40 cents, you're looking closer to, I would say probably up here, man. This is got to be the juiciest area. Let me look it back and yeah, right here. See what I mean? Support, kind of bounced a little bit. Price came up, rejected here. So like 40 to 48 cents, man, if it can break these highs around 38 and put a higher low in here. I know I got a lot of TA in there, but hopefully that hits it for you, brother. I know you trade like more swing trades, so I'm trying to hit the higher time frames. NQ. We looked at NQ already. NQ's simple, dude. This is what you're looking for on NQ. I'll go over it real quick for you. You're holding a pattern right now, right? You're holding a little bit of an ascending triangle. If you break to the upside, you're looking for a sweep of the highs. You're looking for attack the highs around 26.2. If this breaks down, you're probably going to take the range lows out, which are around 24,000. So it's just consolidating in this pattern, and at some point, it's going to pick a direction. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to have to do it. Maybe it consolidates through March before it picks, but like I said, break up, taking out the highs, break down, you're probably going to lose this range. Because the measure and move of this triangle, and usually they break up to the upside more often than they do to the downside, but the measured move takes you to like 26, like 7, but to the downside, look, you're taking out all these lows right here, down to like 23 something. So it'll be a nasty move either way. So that's NQ, kind of in a gist. What was that, Anton? You keep bumping into your stream. Are we range bound or ready for BTC to drop to 50? You're probably not going to like what I have to say. I'm bullish Bitcoin right now. This is what I'm thinking. I'm going to show you what my higher time frame view is, right? So just bear with me real quick. I'm going to draw this out for you guys, and I'm going to show you based off last cycle what we did. And then you guys can make your analysis. So we topped out last cycle in November, right? Where did we bottom? Where did we have our first like dead cat bounce? Right around here-ish. So like between like January and like February, and then we rallied into March, right, of 2022. That was the bear market year after an initial drop. So, I mean, it was like a 30% rally, right? And then we had that dump into the summer that took us into the fall, and then we bottomed, right? Where are we at right now? Well, we've been dumping, and we're starting to get into that February, March. So would it be weird if we had a little bit of a pullback, right? Let's talk about this real quick. Let's do some macro shit. That's your trend, right? Same shit last cycle, man. Look, I'm going to show you something. Nothing's changed. Look at that. Trend down, and when that broke, that was pretty much, yeah, we had one final dip, but that was like the FTX lows, and then we ran up. But still, that's what we're looking for, man. So could we potentially come back into this trend, right? So now watch that trend, and I'm going to show you why I think this is like, it kind of makes sense. So we got a little bit of a pattern forming here. Symmetrical triangle. Take this thing, right? Run this up. Would take us essentially, depending on how much time it took, it would take us into this trend if we did pop up. And it would be a normal retracement. Like, look at this low here. We popped up, I think 20% it was. 22%. I mean, it wouldn't be crazy for us to have a little bit of a push back into this, right? 30% is what we did last cycle. So, bull case, if we do break out of this, I think we're coming back up to about 80, maybe up to 85K. To the downside, if we lose this, we're going to go sweep 51. It's simple, just like you were saying. If we lose this low, we're coming down here. That's the next level. So, for now, it's like, I would say it's 50-50, but I'm starting to lean a little bit more bullish. Because I'm seeing some things in the market that are turning me a little bit more bullish. That's all. I'm just seeing some more bullish structure on the lower time frames. I'm seeing some volume start to pump back in. I'm starting to see sentiment really flip bearish. So that's my feelings on it. But I won't, I wouldn't get too bullish until this pattern breaks. So you're looking for something like this. Looking for a breakout with a confirmation, and then you're looking for the markup, and vice versa. So, I mean, you just trade these things simple. Your opinion is selling off bat, then rebuying when market crash a good idea or not? It's up to you, dude. I mean, if you're patient enough to wait for the prices to come back down, that's fine. Just don't FOMO back in like a lot of people do when they sell off. If we start pumping in the next week or two, don't be one of those people who are like, oh, fuck, I missed the pump, and then try to jump back in. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. You buy low, sell high. So if you selling at a profit or even at a loss, and you plan on buying lower on the same asset, then it's not a bad move. It's probably the smart move. Cut your losses and then wait for that level, you know? The market makers have no imagination and like repeating the monthly. They absolutely do, dude. It's funny. No problem, Kush. You're welcome, brother. The gold market has closed. It's not closed. I'm also short on gold, by the way. I'm going to show you this trade I gave out in the Discord. So right here, gold. I gave this out in the Discord probably like an hour ago, half hour ago. I said, if we lose VWAP and we come back and, you know, basically lose VWAP, I always look for a back test. I said, I expect this gap to get attacked. Let me see if I can find it on Discord. I want to be that guy real quick. Let me see if I can get a screenshot of this for 1 second. I want to go talk shit a little bit. I'm going to show you guys a screenshot of it. There's my snippet. Hold on. I just did a little snippet of it, right? So this is the Discord where I posted it. So that's our Discord. So I said, gold short idea, lose the VWAP, take out CME gap. I mean, it's a simple idea. You just got to stick to your guns sometimes. So I'm short on gold just off that idea because it was starting to look a little toppy. We leave a gap behind. They like to come fill these things, man. So it's a simple idea. If you're interested, guys, come check us out. Check out our Discord. I post things like that all the time. It's not myself. It's a ton of other traders, full-time traders of all levels as well. Traders of all levels. So tacticalhedgetraders.com. If you're not subbed or followed, give us a follow, subscribe, like. We stream 6 days a week, and I'm usually tossing layups out here. I don't tell you what to do. I don't tell you when to take a trade. NFA, no non-financial advice, but I do give my levels, and I do tell you what I'm going to do. Yeah, there's that play going right there. It's going to come fill this CME gap. I'm going to go set my TP real quick. I'm up. I'm going to show you guys the TP on this. I'm up like 250 on this trade right now. On this gold trade. Put the fries in the bag, bro. Yeah. Such a hater. Man, I hope so. What do you think about gold? I think gold ultimately is going to go up, though. I think we do to get a little bit of a retracement here, guys, and then we run up. You know what I mean? Also, Thomas, just gonna throw this out there for you, bro. If I'm serving fries and you're watching me, what's that make you? It's pretty fucking sad, brother. Just throwing that out there, man. A little food for thought. ASTS, what is that? I'll go look at that. Oh, you said they have earnings tomorrow. I can do LSEG next. He said, good point there. I mean, I don't know, man. You just got to like pick your battles sometimes. If you're going to talk shit, at least have a leg to stand on. You know what I mean? Don't give me a layup to fucking slam you right back down. It's just we're just trading insults at this point. Like, what's the point? We could just chill and have a good time, not talk shit. Dude, this thing is crazy volatile. Look at these moves, right? So these moves are ridiculous on this thing. You're right. Earnings are going in. So let's look at what happens during earnings. So I'm just going to mark off earnings, like around when earnings are going, and see if there's any patterns here. I mean, ugh. I mean, if it was in a downtrend, it continued. If it was in a downtrend, it continued, right? The last two earnings. What are we doing now? We're in a downtrend. Are we going to continue that downtrend? And we're like bear flagging into this thing, right? But again, maybe they're going to throw a curveball too, right? Because like ultimately, this hasn't been broken. Let me get rid of everything before I do that. See that? Maybe we do come down and tap this trend. I mean, it's a solid trend. Right, and we are bear flagging out, so maybe we do come tap this. There's some liquidity down here that will make a lot of sense if we did dump into these levels, right? See these lows right here? That would make a lot of sense. Maybe if they want to go a little deeper, but this would make a lot of sense down here. So I'd be looking for some support around $70 if we do dump. On the inverse, right? If we pump, we need to break back above 88, right? And then if we break 88, look at this gap right here. And I just showed you how a gap fills on gold. I mean, price, it goes to it like a magnet, essentially. So see that gap right there? That's going to be, it's resistance as it is now. But if you break this level, you're going to fill that gap and you might mark up a little bit. I can't tell you how far. I mean, I guess the next major level will be like 103 to 108, this area here. So you break that gap and you're looking maybe up to this box here. So those are your levels, really, man. So I would watch it. What I would do, dude, I wouldn't take any trades. Don't take any positions into earnings. Let earnings hit. Let them get the bullshit out the way. If you ever watched Nvidia earning, it's mayhem. They just wick it up and down. There's no fucking rhyme or reason. They're just sweeping everybody. So wait for it to like kind of like consolidate a little bit, like after the big move, whatever direction it is. Let the dust settle, and then you might have some direction. If it's sitting down here after earnings and you haven't lost this, might not be a bad place to look for a long. I mean, you could probably pull a trend here too, right? Just take it from this high here, run a trend down just like that, and it's like, look, that's your signal. If you're sitting down here and you're not losing this, and you start to break trend, maybe you are going to come up. So just keep that in mind. That's what I'm seeing on ASTS. What platform are you trading on? This is TradingView. It's just the app version on my computer. Yeah, let me go look at LSEG. London Stock Exchange, people. Okay. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to mark this off first, because that's obvious. All right. Let's go to the weekly and see what's some weekly levels. So we're approaching weekly high right now on this asset, around 92.64. So that's major resistance right there. And it makes sense. I mean, let's just drag this thing over and look at it. Look, every time it's hit this level, like just generally in this level, it's either rejected or bounced if it was on the opposite side. So we're coming into a chop zone right now. So like expect resistance. And also we've had a pretty strong impulse. So this is a pretty strong, back test or whatever you want to call this. But if you break this level on the weekly, man, like that's huge. Like I think it opens up the floodgates to start taking out highs around 10,000, maybe even higher than that, right? But you got to break above that level. But until that, that's resistance until it's not. What I would be looking for on the daily is to look for this level here. See, I was kind of trading in like a little bit of a range here. If we do start to break back down, I really don't want to see like this level, essentially. Like this is the lowest I'd want to see it go. Because if you start breaking down back below this, you're essentially losing the previous range and you're gaining acceptance back below it. And then you're probably going to take out some of these lows down here. So you'd really want to hold this 81.50 in my opinion. That's what I'm thinking as far as a low. So if you did, let's say, reject, and I don't know if this is going to happen. Let's say we get up here, we reject. Come back down, you want to hold. Maybe it does sweep the CME gap and then close back up like that. That's something I could see happening too on some volatile shit. But that would ultimately be like what I want to see to be bullish. So, but 92.5 is like the level you want to try to crack. You break 92.5, I think you start running up a little bit higher to 10,000, and like also that's going to be resistance. So. Should read other people's chats and not just the same people. That's cool, man. Tell me, I'll tell you how to run your stream when you have one. How about that? I'm trying to read everybody's, man. I'm not picking favorites, bro. I go in order. Is there fair value gap or OBV? I don't know, dude. I don't do fair value gaps. What's the best way I can understand liquidity? If you want to understand liquidity, I don't know what your name is. I just see a middle finger, ninja, hand. I'm just going to not even try to. Anyway, dude, if you want to understand liquidity, check out tacticaledgetraders.com. We have free modules, free courses. Ben puts together an amazing course on liquidity. Like he'll explain it better than I can. It's the best way. And if you want, like I said, it's free to join. You can also join the Discord from there, and you'll find tons of stuff in our learning library, which is free for anybody who's new. Anybody like it's free for all free like members, so you don't have to worry about paying to get access. We don't sell our fucking courses. End of the day, So you can check that out, dude. That's the best thing. I could talk about liquidity for hours, but like if you want to like learn about it, then start there. And then you join the Discord, man. Tag me Unfair Philly, and we can talk about it in the Discord and actually go in depth. How about that? So I'm like I said, I go in order, my man. I try to get everybody's stuff. The mainstream is on YouTube. No, we have a YouTube and they stream out together. To be honest with you, I check TikTok a little bit more, but TikTok gets more chat. Yeah, but if you want to get the recording, you can get it on YouTube. Damn, look at Netflix. Netflix is running, man. So look, we bounced off this level. We said this was a do or die moment for Netflix, right? This is a weekly low. And we're like, we can't lose this. We need to hold this. By the way, I got to close my gold trade out. Nigga's starting to bounce a little bit. I'm going to close half. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I don't want to give it all back. Anyway, so look, Netflix, guys. Bouncing off this weekly low around 82. It swept the lows and it's reclaimed it. And it's pretty much shot up in a straight line, right? Like you can tell this is a short squeeze. Like when you see price action like that, this is shorts getting squeezed. I guarantee you there's tons of trap traders down here. Tons of people going short thinking they're going to run this thing down. And where are they stopping? They're stopping right here. It's just the last place where we started to break down, and we like the last level. Essentially, it was around like 97. Like we started to break down here, and then we just kind of went into free fall, like chopping down. So it's resistance now, man. On the daily, it's a daily swing high. It's the top of the range essentially for this little range that's starting to develop. Areas of interest, right? You got this CME gap below, sitting around 90 to 87. So you got to watch that. If we do get any pullbacks or rejections here, that's going to be a target. Could be support, you know. Maybe they come back down here, sweep into this. I've seen that before, and then they'll run it back up and attack this high. If you break this level, though, I mean, look, your next level is 110. Really simple. Just go up and look. Just look. But if you break 110, I mean, look, it just goes up to 117. If you break 117, it's 126. Just look for your daily and weekly levels. But I think 110 and I think about like this $100 level, those are your big levels to really get back above. Like this is the big level. You get acceptance back above here. Like look at this. If I slide this over, right, just generally this area, when you got back above this, what happened? You kind of shot straight up. There was not much holding you back. So if Netflix can get some, get some fuel behind it and get back above this $96 to $100 level, I think there's a good chance that, you do make a good shot back towards the highs. You're probably not going to take the highs, but I would imagine somewhere in the ballpark of this right here. Let me get rid of that. Somewhere in the ballpark of this right here. See the 618, 786. This is the golden pocket. If you're going to put on a lower high, it's going to be in that area somewhere. And there's confluence up here. These levels. The previous range right here. See this? Like, I'm going to get rid of some of that. So like right here, where price was kind of ranging and then broke down and retested. It just makes a lot of sense to make its way up there if it does break this level. So that's where I'll be watching. So those are your levels on Netflix. Let me see what you guys have. You checked USDT Dominance as well? I can check it. I do swing trade. I swing trade, but right now I'm more of a scalper / like short-term swing trader. Like I'll hold the trade for like 2-3 days. But I really do enjoy like a long swing trade, like a couple weeks, if I could do a couple months, that'd be great, but I don't have the patience for that. I use leverage with my trades too, so I appreciate that, Cosmos Priest. Also, guys, I just want to throw this out there since we got people throwing signals in the group. If you click on someone's signals group that they're spamming in someone else's chat, there's a very good chance they're a scam. So just be careful with that, man. Plus, signals groups in general are scammy. And they can fight me on that shit, too. But I appreciate you spamming my chat, man. Keeping the algos going, dude. Do you think Amazon will fill the bearish on the weekly? Let me check it out. By the way, guys, if you're not following, follow, subscribe, like. Yeah, we stream 6 days a week, man. It's myself, Ben. And if you want to check us out, tacticalhedgetraders.com. You can join the Discord. You can check out our free courses on the website. So, yeah. All right, so Amazon, like, look, this is what I'm really seeing on this thing, dude. I got to go to the 4 hour for this. We lost the major trend, right? We talked about this a couple times, right? We lost this major trend, but we're looking for a back test, right? We're looking for a back test of some areas. What are we up against right now? We're up against this previous range and also a CME gap that we left behind. So what I think happens is if we break this gap here, break into this gap at 212, I think this thing's going to get filled, and I think we have a good shot of making our way back even up to this high up here, this gap, where we might put in a lower high is what I'm expecting up there. So maybe we get up here. If we want to continue, maybe we get up here, and then we put in a lower high for a bigger move down. That's kind of what I'm seeing, and that's how I would play this. Like, if I took all the TA away, right, on Amazon, and I was just trading this the way I would normally trade these trend reversals, I would just simply be looking for this right here. That's exactly what I'd be looking for. Just a retest and a lower high to go short, to come take out this low. I would do this on a 15-minute the same way. So those gaps give us targets in the short term of where the price could go. You get what I'm saying? So target those gaps on the bounce. So I think Amazon could fill the bearish gap on the weekly. Oh, you're talking about down a downside. Oh, okay. I'm talking about the CME gaps to the upside. My bad. You talking about down here? Oh yeah, it's definitely coming down here, dude. If it hasn't filled this yet, it's definitely coming down here. Like I just said, it's probably going to come down here. I think if it doesn't reclaim this high here, I think this gets taken out. 100%. Because if you're looking just at weeklies, this is the weekly low we lost. This is a new weekly low. So we put in a new weekly low. So if the trend continues down, the next low to take out would be here. So yeah, there's a very good chance they'll take that out if we can't reclaim the highs at around 248. So it's a big if, but we'll see. Yeah, then completely bearish. Yeah, I mean, it's around that time, guys. If you've been in the markets for some time, you understand that there's cycles to these things. There's seasonality to like when stocks are bullish and bearish yearly, and then you have like business cycles, and like in crypto we have a 4-year cycle that follows the business cycle. And like these things move the same. Like if you're just looking at charts, if you're getting market structure telling you one thing, and then you look at the seasonality, and the seasonality of it agrees like, hey, this is normally when things get bearish, you're probably going to just go with that until it proves otherwise. I would never try to go against the grain when it comes to that kind of stuff. You know, don't do what everybody else is doing, because everybody else right now is probably buying the dip. You gonna trade to flip some cars? Hell yeah. All right, man. Sorry, brother, you're getting blocked. I had to report you and block you. You can't, dude. Don't spam links in here, guys. I don't want anybody in my who's here to watch us to kind of like click on your link and then like they get scammed and they're like, oh, I was watching your video. You do that on your own streams. I don't care what you do, just don't do it on my stream, because it's not cool, man. What are you guys saying over? What's up? What's up, Ben? Ben, who are you talking shit about? You saying I got low IQ? Markets are rigged. That's how I pay my bills off and not have a 9 to 5. He said low IQ. Better not be talking shit about me. Ben runs the group that I'm in. Him and Nick are the creators. So he's Air ATM if anybody's watching. But yeah, he's a phenomenal trader. That's all I'm gonna say about him. He talks a lot of shit though. He's not as good of a gold trader as I am though. He tries to be. I see him trying in the background. Good night, man. I know you made $300 off that hit. Good stuff, man. Good night, Unc. Later, Aiden. What else you guys want to look at? Last thing I saw was Amazon, Netflix. We went over those. We talked about Bitcoin. What else we got, guys? What else you want to see? We talked about oil. We talked about... Oh, you know what? Let me show you Ethereum. Let's get into the altcoins. Ben, if you're watching, this is for you, buddy. I know you fucking hate altcoins. So, do you think the market future is bearish? I think You mentioned cycles. So look, man, normally if you're just thinking about the cycles, it's usually in about 4 years. We've had 3 years of upside, and usually on the fourth year we have a downside, and then we reset. We start all over again. So do I trade SPY ETF? Not SPY ETF, but I do trade US 500. It's a futures of SPY. So look, remember how I showed you guys Bitcoin was in that little symmetrical triangle and it hadn't broken out yet? Well, ETH's already broken out of it, and look what it's done on the daily. This is a classic. Remember what I talked about? Breakout, retest. Now what are we looking for? We're looking for that markup. First target for ETH is going to be around this 21.5, 21.6, but I really think it's coming up here to attack these highs here around 25. If it can sustain this, as long as it can sustain. If it can't sustain, then it probably won't. But look at this. Measured move. Where does that take us? Bam! Right there. Right to those highs. So, I don't know, man. I'm already long ETH. I took a long this weekend. I got long down here. Twice. So, I got long here when we had that big-ass dip. Fucking scared the shit out of me, right? I was like, oh, man, is this thing going to lose this triangle? So, I bought it. And then I actually bought back in a little bit more today right here on that back test of the trend after we broke out. So I'm loaded up on ETH. I think we do make our way up here. And then we'll see what happens. And it would make sense too. It's been downtrending for quite a bit of time. I mean, look. It's due for a little bit of relief, right? And then they'll come and take these lows out. Don't worry. Don't you guys worry. Ethereum's coming down here to take out these $1,400 lows. Now, the real question is, does it take out last cycle's lows? I hope it doesn't. That would fucking suck if you're in Ethereum. Microsoft, let's go look at Microsoft. Oh, USDT Dominance. Let's go look at that. So anybody who doesn't understand what USDT Dominance is, if you're in crypto, it's probably one of the most relevant charts you can have. What this is showing is this tether dominance. This is stable coin dominance in the market. So when this is going up, typically that means that money's getting pulled out of cryptos, like all coin markets or Bitcoin. So what we're looking for here on Bitcoin dominance is this in an uptrend or downtrend? Well, it's ultimately in an uptrend, but it's at a decision point right now, and I'm going to show you exactly the inverse of Bitcoin. It's been pumping, and what's it creating? I mean, look at Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? The exact inverse of that. So what we're looking for here is to see if there's any resolution. If I had to guess, if I just go down to my 4 hour, look, you can make the argument that this is either a bear flag. We had an impulse down, right? And then we're just bear flagging out. And at some point, we're going to do this. Probably retest some levels below as Bitcoin gets that little pump back up. But if I'm wrong and this thing starts to break up and starts to go up, you're going to see Bitcoin start to dump back down towards 60K. So like you use these inversely to each other, but it's also like a good, like, it's like a good thing to check in on. Like, you know what I mean? Check it when you're going to make a trade in crypto. You want to check and see what what tether dominance is doing. If it's doing the opposite, then you're good. Like, take the fucking trade. But if it's going up and you're trying to take a long on Bitcoin, you're probably going against what the market's telling you. So for now, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But I would watch this 7.65. If we lose that range low right here, this is really what you got to watch. So if we start losing this range low on tether dominance, if this thing cracks, it solidifies Bitcoin goes up to that 80 to 85 range. If we just get a bounce here, then it's probably going to Bitcoin's probably going to get rejected on that 72, just like it did before. See what I mean? Right up here. So that's how I like to look at those things. So that's USDT dominance. It's a good chart to have, man. I appreciate you pointing that one out. If you study over 5 years, you will see it's due to dip to 50K, then break. It's probably going to go to 50K. It's going to go lower than that, dude. It's going to go lower than 50. It always goes lower than people expect it to. And then once it gets there, people start saying, oh, no, it's going to go to this level. It's going to go to this level. That's when you got to like, oh. That's when you start buying. When the people that are bullish now, thinking that this is we're going to go up from here, when they flip bearish, that's when you go bullish. Have I checked Monero? No, I haven't. It's not on my to-do list. I'm sorry, brother. I can check it for you, but I got to go through a couple others first. Someone asked for Microsoft. By the way, guys, if you're following or watching, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe, like. We do live 6 days a week, myself and Ben. He's the blonde one with the glasses. He's pretty funny. He talks. He's got like that dad tone to him. He'll talk down to, like, talks at you a little bit, but like it's all like just his personality. But he's a good dude, man. So you should follow us. You can catch us when we're going live talking about the markets, and if you want to check us out, tacticaledgetraders.com. I'm not going to go too much more into that. We do have a Discord as well, all access from the website. Links are in the bio and description. Anyway, let's look at MSFT. I want to start fresh on this one. So look, trend. Weekly trend, by the way, from August 2022. We're holding here. We're trying to hold at least, right? So I go to my daily. What do we see? Well, we deviated. We're trying to reclaim. The question this week we have to answer is, does this reclaim? Can we reclaim this 390 level? And if we start losing, I would say this low here around 383, 384, I think it's probably coming down a lot further. The levels to the upside I'm watching in the immediate is this gap right here, which is up to about 440, up to about 480. It also lines up, that's a daily high. It's also a weekly high, right? So it's a big level. So that's going to be at the target if we do hold this. So you just want to watch it this week, man. See what happens. Can we hold this? We could, if we can get a bounce here, dude. I think this thing runs up. I mean, look, you're kind of like, you just got to break this high here around 406, and I think it's on. It's about 444 or 441. So that's what I'm thinking on this one. But yeah, watch this low. Watch this trend. It's due for a bounce. Look at these big candles. You know, just like when you get these big pumps, you get pullbacks. It's the inverse as well. You get these big dumps, you're gonna get bounces along the way. Bear markets aren't straight down like people think. They just feel like they're straight down because most people are bullish when it's happening. Like make an account, but I can't find it. Tell me to actually start. Everyone giving strategies on how to buy and sell. I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna, I mean, strategies to buy and sell? What do you mean? Like spot? Long term? So iron, dude, look. The reality of iron right now, we're in a kind of a weird spot. I would say this is probably like, I think this low is gonna get taken out. I seriously do at this point. Why? Because one, look, weekly. Swing high, swing low, lower high. It just makes sense that we would come for this low and at least attempt to take it out. And what are we doing right now, right? Just based off how market structure usually goes. We're flagging out, man. Look at that. That's a bear flag, dude. That's a bear flag. So if this thing starts to break down this low right here, which is around like 38, 39, it's coming back down to this 33 level to attack this low. If you lose that, it's going, I mean, shit, the next level down is about $25. So be prepared for that if that happens. And to the upside, look, man, if you want to get bullish, you got to get back, well, at least bullish in the short term, you got to get back above 47. 47 is your level right here to break back above. You break that, you can open up to go back up to maybe 55, up to maybe even 64. So that's like, it's just trading in this range, but I think this is more poised to the downside than the upside. And that's just what the charts are saying to me. Everyone's giving strategies on how to buy and sell. Oh, I'd like to make an account. I don't know, man. I'm not going to tell you. What's up, Rob? Who's going to sleep on water commodity investments and regret it? Yeah, right. Just going to go back and tell my grandkids one day, like, yeah, man, I should have bought water investments. I fucked up. You guys would have had you guys would have been set. You'd have been trust fund babies. Sorry, I got to close out a little bit more of my gold trade. It's getting back in profits. I like to take profits as I go when I'm trading, scalping. Like I shave off as I get into profits because you never know if they're going to pull price back. I've been victim of round tripping quite a bit in my trading career, and now I'm just like, take profits. Just take a little off, you know, you'll never regret it. You don't have to close the whole thing out. All right, so Palantir, dude, I'm just going to be straight up with you. Look, dude, let's just keep it really simple. We're not going to get too complicated here. This is your neckline. This is your pattern. This is your reversal pattern. This is your head and shoulders. The measured move is this. Hold on. It's down here. So it would take us back down to this $95 level, which, believe it or not, was the original breakout. That was the original break of structure right here. Look at this right here at 97. That's when this impulse had that break of structure and it took off, and we just kind of rallied for a while. So that's the target, man, if this thing starts to break down, right? Which it's already breaking down. Now, here's the thing. We are getting a little bit of a bounce here. It's probably going to come back and attack this 147. If it can reclaim this 147, the level to really break is this level here. It's got to get back above 165. If it doesn't, anything below 165, in my opinion, is just a lower high. You know what I mean? Like on a higher time frame. I mean, like that's the big level above this. Like, it's got to break that and gain acceptance back up here. Otherwise, it's just, you know, a back test of the neckline, which you see a lot of times in these inverse head and shoulders or head and shoulder patterns. They'll come back and back test, and then they'll continue down. So you also have a little bit of a trend here kind of running down, right? So that's something to watch. See how they're lining up with the same area right here? Right there around 147. That's going to be major resistance. But if it does break through and does something like this, I mean, hey, it might be a nice little place to take a long if that happens. And maybe target a little higher up. Otherwise, you're looking for this, man. Boom. Continuation. So we'll see. We'll see. That's Palantir in a nutshell. Let's go look at what's up, Mahmoud? You want to look at Worldcoin? I can look at Worldcoin. You've got a long day at HSBC tomorrow. Good for you, brother. Don't say I didn't tell you about water. Hold on, let me go. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me where you work and then expect me. Well, at least your company's going up. I don't believe you, but I think if you work there, you wouldn't be talking to me or watching my streams. Let's go look at Hood, and then I'm gonna look at Worldcoin for you, all right? Because they did ask for that first. All right, so look, simple on Hood, man. Terra flows got put in right here. A lot of things were pretty much in the dirt at this point, right? And then they rallied up. We lost this trend. It's a year-long trend, and we've back-tested it, and we've continued to mark down, right? What's the pattern here? We talk about this a lot. Head and shoulders. Well, where's the neckline? So if we do get a back test, which I don't know if that's likely right now, but we are bouncing a little bit off support, I think. Are we there? Yeah, we're almost there. So like the 69, 68 is going to probably serve as support. If we do get a back test, this is the area I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to come back up into that area and then maybe continue down if it's going to continue down. So, and it would line up too with this. Look, I'm just kind of piecing it all together as we go. See what I mean? Look at the trend. Don't you love when Confluence like that lines up? All your stupid lines that people talk about line up. Watch that shit reject there too if we get up there. And then you can come tell me about how my trend lines are stupid. It's just visual cues, man. That's all it is at the end of the day. But I'm looking for somewhere up, maybe a back test of 100, 105 if we can hold above this level here around 68. That would be the area I'd be looking for at the back test. If it does even get that high, 100%, I don't know, man. This thing's been beaten to shit, so I think a short squeeze is coming at some point. You don't see these things run down forever. At some point, they do squeeze. And we are approaching a major support here, so I'd be looking for that. Locally, man, it's not too much different than everything else. It's just ranging, waiting for direction. At some point, it's going to pick. Yeah, we'll see. I guess right now, locally, the $79, you want to break that, and then you could start attacking that 87, 88 high up here. So that's Hood. Let's go look at WorldCoin. Yeah, dude, Keenan Mills, dude, I caught a sick long in fucking on gold. I caught a sick long. I got it from 4,200 on Friday, and I closed out almost at no, not 42. I mean 5,200. I closed out about 5,400 today, just under 5,400. It was a leverage trade too. It was, I think, 20x or something like that. So we said WorldCoin, right? This thing got beat to shit. All right, so fuck. Let's just talk about the levels here. I'm not even going to go too far back on this thing. So look, there's your... If you were in crypto, you know exactly what this day was. Fucking Black Monday. This was the day that Binance's APIs and a bunch of their fucking cryptos went to zero, and it destroyed every exchange. Everyone got liquidated. Some assets went to zero, put these big wicks in. So ultimately, that's the target for support it was heading to. We didn't get there, and we're starting to find a little bit of support above it, right? It's starting to range. It's the same thing as everything else, man. Like, here's your range high, and you got a little bit of a sloping trend, right? A little bit of an uptrend. So it's like lose the low of the range, and you're coming down to probably fill the rest of the wick down at 2640. If you break back above this 43, which is kind of a far way, right? You might pump back up into this area around 65. Like, this is a major level of resistance here on WorldCoin. So, like, let's just break it down really simple. All right. You break 44, you can make your way up to 67. If you don't break it, you're probably going to roll over and come down to 26. Those are your major levels. And then on the shorter time frames, you're just looking at this right here. Can you hold support? Like, do you hold this low? Like, the low we're forming right now, is this going to hold? And also, what else is forming? Go to a 4 hour. I mean, it looks bullish, I'll be honest with you. That was a trend break, right? That's your back test. This looks like a bull flag getting ready to rip. And I bet you it takes you to the top of the channel. Look at the measure move. I mean, I can't make that shit up. So I think you're headed up to 44. If Bitcoin can continue to move up, if Bitcoin breaks 68, 69K, I think you're going to see WorldCoin make its way up to 44. So that's just what I'm seeing right now on that one. But if you start to lose these lows, especially this low at 63, not 63, 36, I'm dyslexic right now. Around 36, you're probably coming down. Take out these wicks in the low 30s, maybe lower than that. It's not a good sign if that happens, so. Anyway, let me close out this trade. Closing out my gold trade real quick, guys. All right. What'd I clear on that? Not bad. It was like a $200 trade. I took it while we were on stream. I didn't tell you guys, but I took it while we were on stream. If you were in the Discord, you would have known about the trade beforehand, though. I'll post them in the Discord, but I'll never tell you when I'm going in a trade, even in the Discord. I'll never say exactly when I'm going long because, again, we're not financial advisors. We don't want people smashing long because we do. Bro, what is gold and silver doing? Bro, gold, we already talked about. Silver, I don't know, man. Silver's struggle city right now, my dude. I've talked about gold all day, man. Like twice already. So silver is trying to get back. It's trying to reclaim of this 92 level. If it can't reclaim this 92 level, dude, this thing's coming back down probably to 84. And if it loses this trend here, right? So this is if it loses this, comes to this trend. If it loses this trend, it's probably coming down here to sweep these lows around 70 and maybe down to 60. And if it loses that, dude, it's back down to 54. If it can hold this right here, right? That's where you're going. So this is a big level. But I can tell you right now, on the shorter time frames, it's not looking too strong. Whereas if you look at gold, what's gold doing? Gold's fucking blasted through that level. The 5100 level is the equivalent of that 9200 level, that 92 level for silver. And look what gold's done. Gold's back tested it, consolidated, and ripped. So gold's looking a lot better. I think people are starting to fade silver. So it wouldn't be like if I had to pick between the two, I would say trade gold if you're looking long, and if you're looking to short, you might want to short silver. I don't know. Manipulation at its finest. Yeah, dude, it's so manipulated. Nvidia. Somebody did ask for Nvidia. And SAP. I'll look at SAP next, all right? What happened to Binance? Dude, their APIs went down, bro. The whole Binance thing, Alex. So, like, they set the books. Like, their order books, that's what like mechs see. All your smaller exchanges, they all get their data from Binance. So if something happens in Binance where like their systems go down, or they're showing price moving, or like they get like, let's say price starts to move and they like something depegs, like that it's gonna affect everything. So it calls mass liquidations. They said the funds were there. It was just like an API issue, but everyone got liquidated. I think it was them manipulating the market. There was a lot of speculation on that. So look, man, I talked about this level on Nvidia a while back. I said to get bullish, we have to look. We're in a range. At the end of the day, we're in a range. I said if we can break this high, you go back to the all-time highs around 194. If you lose that high, you're coming back down to the bottom of the range around 171. I mean, look, what do? We swept liquidity. The obvious place to come is for the lows at 170. We lost trend, and guess what that day was? It was the earnings, right after earnings. I said if we're pumping into earnings, it's never a good sign. So I'm thinking we're coming back down here, man, and I think it's probably going to continue. That's not a good sign. This was like, for me, in the higher time frames, if I'm just looking at this thing, this is not a good look. This looks like just looks like this. That's all I'm seeing, and that's the neckline. And if this neckline breaks, guess what? Down to here. About 150. So that's what I'm thinking. But if it can hold, man, and it'll just keep doing this until it breaks either above that and goes for the highs up here, or it breaks down, like I said here. So that's Nvidia, dude. Drawing those lines mean nothing when you're trading against algorithmic coding machines. Ask me if I'm profitable. What do you think about XYZ? I don't know, dude. I don't even know what XYZ is. Oh, I can look at it. Give me a second, though. Gold's ripping. Yeah, I know. I closed my short out. Let me go look at gold. So, let me get rid of all this shit real quick. So I was short up here on the loss of VWAP right there, and I closed down down here. It almost filled the gap. I told you it was coming for this gap. It might still have more to it too. Let's see. It does have a little bit more, but we'll see. Does it break this trend line right here? Right. That'll be the determining factor for me if it's going to continue up. Sometimes they don't do full fill. Sometimes they only fill a little bit and then they run it up. So, but my guess is this is probably going to determine. It might start to roll over and fill the rest of it, or if it breaks here, then shit, it's probably going to want to go for the all-time high again. What do we got here? 20x is a lot. That's not that bad when it comes to gold. I used to do 10x on fucking altcoins, dude. I was a degen. Let's go look at DNN. By the way, guys, if you're not following or subscribed, hit that button. Follow, subscribe. We go live 6 days a week, myself and Ben. You can also like. It helps show a lot of appreciation for the channel. Helps push us out to other viewers like yourself. You can also check out our website, tacticalhedgetraders.com. You can gain access to our Discord or our free courses from there. So, and there's a lot of free courses. We don't sell. I'm going to tell you right now. We're not a signals group. We don't sell. We're not selling you a fucking course. We'll give you the information for free. The information's out there in the world already that we're using. We're not going to try to fucking package it up and sell it like our own, like some fucking I don't want to even say it, man. There's just a lot of fucking bullshit ass fucking trading courses out there that are fucking full of shit. just relabeling the same shit over and over. So look, dude, there's your, look, that was your support. That was your break, your retest. This thing looks poised to keep going up, right? Like that's a weekly high it flipped. Trends up. No reason to get bearish on this thing. I would say on the weekly, you want to hold this 340. I'd say on the daily, you're getting close to resistance right now. I see right up here, you're at resistance. So you're in a decision point. This thing could theoretically just range for a little bit until it makes a decision whether it wants to break up or down. So that's your big level to the upside and big level to the downside. What I would watch for maybe a potential early sign of a move down, look for this little trend to break, all right? Give me 1 second, get rid of that. So you're looking to see if this trend gets breached. If it does, maybe you do come down to retest these lows. Inversely, right? Let's say this thing decides to hold and pushes up, breaks high. You're looking for a back test and your continuation. Simple. So it's that or it's something like this. Boom. Back down to here. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. Treat it like a range for now. It's probably the best way. SAP. Yeah, let's go look at SAP. Somebody did ask for that a bunch of times. I mean, dude, it looks just like everything else, really. Same thing. Look, you have a CME gap. So it closed on Friday up here at 195, one Friday in January, and it opened back around 178. So it created a gap. And what's that gap do? It turns into resistance. And what happens if you gain entry back in here? Think of it like a range. It's just going to go fill that range really quickly. So if you get acceptance back into here, it's probably coming up here to this 196 again. If you break back above that, then this is probably the high it's going for, around 220. Inversely, look, you're trading in a range, right? That's your low. That's your resistance. If you lose this low here, well, you got to look to the next level down. I do think you're probably going to get a bounce first before it does run down. Just little gut feeling here. Normally, a lot of times when you start to, everything else is going to bounce. Everything else look poised for a bounce. And also, look at this. This swing low right here, you swept that liquidity. See how it wicked and then regained? When you see stuff like that, it's called an SFP. That is a grab of liquidity. Oftentimes, those usually give you a little bit of a bounce. I'll show you a good example of that right here. So look, this is a weekly low. We came down here, and it's very, very, very faint, right? But look at that sweep. It took that low right there. Slightly took it. Look at the bounce it got. Because it's grabbing people's stops. There's just liquidity piled up down here. And this is where big money will go long. If they're going to go long, they're going to do it on the extremities. The higher the time frame, the bigger the level, the more liquidity is going to be there. So this is a little bit intro to liquidity. And look at the bounce. You got a decent bounce off that. I mean, that's like a 15% bounce. I mean, maybe we get a 15% bounce here. Would take us into the gap. We already kind of got a 15% bounce, but this is a pretty big drop. So I would expect maybe this gap to get attacked. Like, actually get attacked. And what section you post to set up a golden Discord? I put it in my VIP channel, so Eddie VIP. You might have to be an operator tier for that, and then I posted in the stocks TA. But honestly, dude, like, I think I gave that. I didn't give the trade out yesterday, but it's in the Discord. It's in there. Let me see. What else we looking at? Oh, that was SAP. I appreciate that, Alex. I do appreciate that, man. I think Ben and Nick have built the community from the ground up. It's been years. Sorry. SMR New Scale. This is an energy stock, isn't this? Damn, this thing got beat to shit, guys. So the support's around 1131, right? And resistance on your weekly is up here. This rejection where we can keep getting smacked up against. So what you're looking for is this support to hold. I think you're going to come take this low, though. I think you're going to attack it. You're so close to it, you might as well. So I'd be looking at this 1131 to see what happens, man. That's the immediate level. You can also track a trend right here on the daily. From the highs, just run straight down. You can even go down your 4 hour and just verify it, right? Look at that. It's clean. So if you find support down here and you break that trend, that's probably where I would go long, or start to flip a little bit short-term bullish and maybe come back up, attack these highs around 22. That would be my target. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing on SMR in the next couple weeks, daily, 4 hour. But for now, it looks like a lot of times when these things bottom out, they're going to range for a bit. So you just got to be patient with them. But this trend could get you a nice little pop if it breaks, especially at that level. What's up, guys? What's up, Hassan or Hassan? Let me go look at XRP. Somebody's always asking about XRP. My TA hasn't changed on. It's the same as it was before. This is your big level, right? I'll go to the weekly and show you what I'm talking about. Your big level is this 178. And you could be forming a little bit of a bull flag here, right? You had your big impulse up and you're flagging out. So how do we break out of this, right? Well, if we broke it, we would make our way back up to that 178, 190 area. There's a few targets to the upside we could attack, but look, it's simple, dude. You get back above this high right here around 148, break that little trend, flip that, and then you start attacking these highs. You look for the back test, back to 178, which also lines up with our downtrend, right? Look at the downtrend. It would take us right into that. It would be nice. It would be a good back test. It's going to be a strong resistance up here around 178, 190. So be prepared if you get up there, but there's potential here. I mean, I'm looking at my indicators. My indicators look like they're gearing up for something. When I mean indicators, I'm just saying I see bullish divergence, guys. I'm not trying to, there's no fucking magic indicator telling me, oh God, be prepared. I'm just saying, the momentum's down, starting to shift back up. I'm starting to see divergences on time frames. I'm starting to see signs of a bottom forming, local bottom. So, yeah. I mean, look on the 4 hour. It's the same thing as everything else on XRP. Is this a bull flag? And if it is, where does it take us? Right? I mean, we'll put us back up above 150. That's the level we need to break. We talked about 148. So if this bull flag plays out on the 4 hour, man, you're going to get that shift that you want. Watch that. Let's see on the 1 hour. Look how clean that is. It's flirting with it, guys. Let's see where it's at. It's right above the 618, right? So it front ran the 618 just barely. But if this thing starts to pop here, guys, right? Probably going to run up. That's how those usually play out. Damn, you guys are just throwing stuff at me. I feel cheap just throwing tickers at me. Chart. AMD. Let's look at AMD. Just ranging, dude. I wouldn't get too crazy on AMD right now. Look, I'll just get rid of this. Let's do it fresh for anybody who wants to see this done fresh. So that's the trend you lost from April, March lows of last year. That's the tariff low. What else are we sitting at right now? Well, we back tested and we failed to break it, but we're also sitting above this range. That was a range. Like you could see if I go back on my daily, look at this. Bounce, 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 bounce. We're bouncing until we don't. So if this level around 195, 190 gets broken, you're probably going to come down here and fill this gap. Look, we haven't forgot about this gap. The market hasn't forgotten because it's still there, right? So that was the gap. You filled it partially. So if it loses that low, it's probably going to take out the rest of this gap. That would be a good solid move down to like 172, 170, maybe even further if 150 if it really wants to run. But for now, all right, let's get rid of this. For now, you're holding range. So this is your range. Right? That's your range. 220 down to about 195. You start breaking back above this, maybe things flip a little bit bullish. Start attacking the gap up here. You see the gap right there? Look at that. That's a target. Back up to 235. So 220 is resistance, 195 is support. Those are the levels above and below. So that's AMD really. Not too much. It's just like ranging. Yeah, I wouldn't listen to that Keelan guy. Hey, Keelan, you're getting muted for a little bit, buddy. Don't be throwing signals in the group. There's kids in here, man. I just like to talk shit. PSTV. I have no idea what this is. Plus Therapeutics? Okay. Well, this looks like shit, dude. Jesus. Can you show me a chart that looks more bearish than this? What the fuck? I can't even get to the top. Dude! Come on! It never ends! I'm not looking at this chart. What the fuck? You guys are a part of that whole thing. It went from, what, 1.3 million down to 30 cents? Dude, this thing is dead. Why are you even looking at this? You're joking, right? What the fuck? Like, I should never have to scroll up that much on a token. On the monthly! That's the monthly chart. I'm sorry I'm going hype right now, but that shit's funny. Oh, man. I'm sorry if you own this, man. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm just saying this thing is fucking in the dirt. So, I mean, I just, it's going to keep going down, dude. Like, it just not stop. It's creating new lows. I mean, your floor right now is 18 cents, I guess. But here's the thing, man. If you drop below 18 cents, you still have zero to hold you up. That's so bad. I'm sorry, man. I think this thing is dead. But look, dude, if you could look, let me go to the weekly. Let's just get some analysis on the weekly. So your low's at 1630. All right. All jokes aside, your weekly high is up here. It's around 76 cents. So like, you know what? Let's call it this. Let's call it this 60 cents. I'm going to the daily real quick. So you got to get back above 60 cents to flip even remotely like bullish in the short term, right? But you do have something interesting on the upside. You do have a little bit of a CME gap right here. See that? You're hitting it right now. You're kind of like flirting with breaking through it. So if you can gain acceptance back above this 32 cents level, you could get back up to this 50 cents, maybe even up to this 55, because there's another gap up here. So like this, they could just come for all of this at once. So, and as beaten down as this thing is, at some point they probably are gonna squeeze the shit out of some shorts. Yeah, looks all right, man. I mean, maybe in the short term there might be a play to the upside. I would see, yeah. So, sorry, I had to get through all the fucking crazy shit. So maybe something like that. Otherwise, this will look for that trend to break. If this trend breaks, it's coming back down to 16. Okay. Short it. I already went over Palantir, Arissa. If you want to check us out on YouTube, Tactical Edge Trading Academy. We have you can go back in the recording and check out Palantir, any of the things I talked about today. Bruh. Can you analyze SoFi? Yeah, I can look at SoFi. I don't know what Wolf is. I can look at that too, but I don't know what it is. SoFi, I know what it is. All right, so SoFi is the same thing as everything else, man. They're all in a downtrend, right? And we're looking for support. So is it going to find support here? Like, that's what we're trying to figure out. Is it going to find support on this $17 previous high? We'll see. We're going to find out this week. It's down there. But in the short term, right? Look, there's no signs of an uptrend, even on the 4-hour. Just be mindful of this. So look for that $17 level to hold. Look for something like this to form, right? You know what I mean? And then look for structure to start to break on the 4-hour, and then that'll start to roll into the higher time frames like the daily. But right now, you need to look for the 4-hour structure break. We don't have that yet. The trend is still down. So you're looking for something like this to form, and then bang, get out of here. Climb out of this thing. But 17 is your support right now, and your immediate resistance on the daily is about $20. So those are your levels on SoFi. But I think it's down till it's not. I've already gone over Robinhood. I did say I was going to go over Wolf. I don't know what that is. Wolfspeed. By the way, guys, if you're watching right now and you're not following or subscribed, go ahead and do that. We go live 6 days a week. Hit that like. And if you want to check us out, tacticaleducators.com, we have free courses on there. We don't gatekeep any of our content, like as far as our educational stuff, our trading systems, none of that stuff is gate kept. And you can also join our Discord for free, where you're actually able to chit chat with us, hang out with us in the Discord. We have live trading and stuff. We do a bunch of other things. We do accountability groups. Nick just went over a CME group where he gave out some sick swing setups that he's looking at. So we got a lot of things going on in there. A lot of full-time traders. And we have all levels of experience. So there's no there's no learning curve. There's a learning curve obviously, but there's no gate to entry basically is what I'm saying. So Wolf. So that's the previous range. All right, so this is what you're looking for on Wolf. So you deviated below the range, right? You dipped and you're starting to reclaim it. You're still in a downtrend, so you're creating lower highs on the daily. So what you're looking for, if you get any pullback here, you want to hold this 1680 level. And if you can, and you can break this high here, you could see a little pop. Let's maybe come take out these highs up here, around like 24. And if it goes higher than that, I mean, maybe you're getting up to here, up to this $30 level. So, but it all starts with holding this support here, around $16.50, $17. So that's what you're looking for on Wolf. Oh, damn it. I just went on the wrong thing. Okay. Terra Wolf. I gotcha. I've done this one before. I mean, look. Simple. You're up against resistance right now. $17 is resistance. You're sitting at $16.22. So you rejected initially. Your major level that you broke out of this range down here started at $9, right? You broke it, and I told you what was going to happen. I said you're going to rip it back up to the top of this. I think we talked about this a while ago, guys, a long time ago. I haven't charted this thing in forever, but look, it's in a range, right? So if it's going to do one of two things, it's either going to gain acceptance back into the range and make its way back down to the lower of the range, right? And if it takes out these lows and continues, then $9 is going to be your next level, which is the previous range we're at. Inversely, if it breaks this $17 levels, guess what? What happened last time I broke 17? It's going to just drag this back and let you guys see. Every time I break 17, what does it do? It rips up to like $30. $30. Sometimes it goes a little higher. So we're seeing what happens, man. This could be a bull flag. Maybe it's distribution. So those are the levels. I've already looked at gold. I looked at a bunch of the stuff that you guys already put on YouTube. What is prop? Let me go look at prop. What is the right one? Am I looking at the right thing? Someone said prop. This looks like a dead token. Why? Oh, hold on, let me see. Yeah, dude, this thing looks like shit. I don't know what this is. I'm not gonna TA that. If it's something else, I'll TA it, but that doesn't look right to me. CRH. I mean, what can I really say about this thing, dude? It's up. I could tell you what I'm gonna tell you what you already know. There's your trend. There's your last high that you broke out of, right? You can see you've established support right there, right? Around 109, 110. You establish support, and you're starting to you keep creating new highs. The one thing I will say that's that you could watch in the short term, right, is this trend here, this local trend. You're starting to lose that. So what's that telling me? That tells me in the well, that's not even the short term. It's a weekly fucking chart. So I think we're probably going to come back down here and retest this 110, 109 area if we can't reclaim this trend here. If we lose this level, I think we're coming back down to the bigger trend further down, which could take us back down to about $100, maybe $95, depending on how fast this thing moves down. I would imagine there's some bearish divergence in here, just the way it looks. Well, apparently I can't do anything with this thing. Guess not. I don't know, TradingView's not letting me pull up my indicators right now. It's freezing up on me. Whatever. Anyways, I think I'm going to call it, guys. I've been going for about an hour and a half. I hit a bunch of charts. My eyes are starting to hurt. My mental my mental fucking bandwidth is starting to decrease a little bit. But I go live tomorrow around the same time, between like 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you're not following or subscribed, that's the best way to get notifications when we go live. So why don't you guys do that? That way you can get notified, and you can if I missed your ticker today, you can come in the beginning of the chat, in the beginning of the stream, and I will make sure. I usually take care of the people that are there early. They get their tokens or their tickers looked at. So check us out there. And if you also want to check us out at tacticaledgetraders.com, that's our website. We have free courses there. You can also gain access to our Discord if you want to chit chat, or you want to see what we're about. If I missed any topics and didn't get to talk about it, you can tag me in the Discord at Unfair Philly, and we could talk about those things a little bit more in depth than as if I was on a live stream. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get going. I appreciate everybody for hanging out, and yeah, till tomorrow. Later, y'all.